Welcome back to TMO Fishing. I'm Tim, and today I'm going to walk you through how I dress and why it's important for a day on the ice. You know, as ice anglers, we use a number of different tools to make us more successful on the ice, whether it's lightweight augers, tungsten jigs, specialty fishing lines. We have lots and lots of tools, more tools at our disposal as ice anglers than ever before. But for me, nothing ensures my success on the ice more so than the way that I dress and how prepared I am for the elements. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is socks. And now socks might not seem like a big deal to a lot of people, but your body loses heat 25 times faster in water than it does in air of the same temperature. So if your feet sweat and get wet, they're in water and they will get cold 25 times faster than they will if they're dry. So for me, if I wear too much socks, my boots are too warm for the conditions, my feet will sweat. So how do I deal with when I'm more active or when my feet sweat? And also your feet will sweat when you're actually cold just as much as they will when you're hot, because your feet are trying to produce heat. So for my feet, I wear a two-part system. These are the ThermoLite liner socks from Clam Outdoors. They're a thin sock. Just looking at them, they don't look like they should really do much for warmth. The general purpose of these socks is to wick moisture away from your foot. So this is the first thing I put on, is this pair of socks, and I'll throw my thermals on, and then I will wear a pair of merino wool, something synthetic. The most important thing I'm going to say about how you dress on the ice is to stay away from cotton. If you get wet, whether it's from snow or rain or sweat, cotton is also known as the silent killer, and it's going to hold that moisture up against your body. It doesn't wick it away, and you're going to be cold. You're going to lose body heat 25 times faster than you would if you were dry. So I put the ThermoLite liner socks on first, and then over them I put the merino wool. And the unique thing about wool is it keeps you warm even when it's wet. So that's my socks. For a base layer, it really depends on the weather. This is a Ice Armor base layer that I've had for a number of years. I really like it. It's not overly heavy. Here in New England, we get some really cold days, but we don't get a ton of like Subzero days here in the wintertime. So this base layer works really well. It's a synthetic polypropylene, polyester blend, something like that, base layer. And this also works to help wick moisture away from my body, but it's not super tight fitting. There are companies that make athletic apparel that's tight fitting, that's good for when you're running or when it's active wear. It's designed to keep you warm while you're active. If you wear some of that tight fitting clothing, some of it's really expensive, and just based on the price, it seems like it should keep you very warm. And a lot of it won't, because it is not designed to keep you warm when you're just sitting still. Loose fitting layers, synthetic clothing, is designed to keep you warm while you're less active, like we often are ice fishing for long periods of time. This is the Subzero base layer. It's thick. A lot of people in the industry that are familiar with it call it the gorilla suit because it's big and thick and puffy. You want to be careful when you wear this, because if it's not cold enough, you will sweat buckets. Now, a lot of times I'll just be wearing jeans. It's how I leave the house. I'll throw my thermals and socks and everything on at the house, throw my clothes on, and then head out and throw my suit on over that. One of the most important parts of your body are your feet. I tell my clients this all the time. I've been a guide for almost 15 years, and I can't tell you how many times I've had clients show up wearing hiking boots or sneakers. Believe it or not, it happens. And I try to make it abundantly clear that good boots are the most important article of clothing that they're going to be wearing. Your feet get cold first, and they stay cold the longest. So I've had a lot of boots. I've been ice fishing since I was a little kid, and I have owned a lot of boots. And I have got to say that these Subzero X boots from Clam are, without a doubt, the most comfortable and warmest ice fishing boot I've ever had on my foot. They have a removable liner, so if they get wet, pull the liner out, dry it out. No need for a boot dryer. And when you get home from a day on the ice, if your feet do sweat, pull that liner out, let it dry out. By the next morning, they're completely dry. Those boots, they feel like you're wearing slippers. They're not overly heavy. Really nice boots. So I wear the Thermolite liner socks, merino wool, something thin to wick the moisture, designed to wick the moisture away from your foot. Over that, a lot of times I almost wear a vest almost every single day when I'm on the ice. Now, besides your feet being the most important part of your body to keep warm, a lot of people, you'll hear them say you lose more heat out of your head and your feet than you do any other part of your body. And that's probably true. And in fact, it is true. However, where is that heat coming from? What part of your body is making that heat? Well, your core is. Your core is constantly working to keep your hands, your head, and your feet delivered with warm blood that's going to keep you warm while you're on the ice. So if you can't keep your core warm, I don't care how warm your boots are, you're not going to be able to keep your feet warm. So I put a nice fleece vest. This one happens to be, Vexlar gave me this. It's a really nice fleece vest, and you'd be amazed at how much that does to help keep my core warm. And then this year for my suit, my ice fishing suit, I'm going to be wearing the Rise suit. I've had the Ascent suit for the last few years, actually since it came out. It's an amazing suit. I love it. I have a couple of them, so I love the look of this Rise suit this year. This colorway is amazing. It really pops on the ice. So I went with the Rise suit this year. This is like wearing a portable fish house on the ice. I've been hearing Dave Genn say that for years. There are a lot of days that because of the suit, I don't need to get in my shelter at all. This is an insulated suit. It's waterproof. It has articulated knees and things to make ice fishing easier. It makes it easier to kneel down. It makes it easier to bend over. It's a bib and a PARKA system. And this particular suit also happens to have motion float technology. So if I fall in, I'm going to stay afloat so I can get myself right back out again. There is flotation in this suit, and you literally cannot feel it in there. That's how good this motion float technology is in this suit. It's not a gimmick. Throw a hat on or my hood. A lot of times, I'm pretty active as a guide. I'm the one usually doing most of the work, so I'm running around. On the not so cold days, I'll wear just a mid-range glove. These are the new Delta gloves. I've been wearing the Edge gloves for a number of years. And on really cold days, I wear the Extreme, or I have a pair of Renegade gloves too. These are a high gauntlet glove that are actually really nice when I'm on my snowmobile because they'll go up over the sleeves of my coat and keep the wind and stuff out when I'm driving my snowmobile. So that's the basic recipe for how I dress when I'm on the ice. You can have one of the best days you've ever had fishing, and if you're absolutely miserable and cold, I guarantee it's going to be one of the things you remember the most. So dress for success. How you dress is going to have a huge part in how much fun you have and how successful you'll be. Everything's harder when you're cold. So the more comfortable you can stay, the easier everything else will be. Tying knots, drilling holes, moving around, any of it. It's going to be easier when you're warm. So get out there and stay warm. Stay safe. Ice fishing season's just around the corner. Don't take any unnecessary risks. Wear your float suit if you have it. Take your safety gear with you. Go with a friend. Have a good time, and we'll see you out there.